Hey guys, I just wanted to share a quick word that the Lord's been teaching me about rest in Him. So pretty much, I know as far as me now, this is just a disclaimer. This might not pertain to everybody because I know in some cases God will tell you to run full speed and just go, and you should be obedient to that and do that. But for those of you that God is preparing for the promise, this may be for you. But just, seek God, ask Holy Spirit to make sure that this is for you as well. But this is something that God has really been teaching me this past few months. And it's just resting in Him and how to really be content in Him. So if God has given you a promise or a vision of, where you're headed to or what He has for you, we have to also trust God to lead us to lead us there, to take us there. So if you have a promise from God that you're going to preach, or I know I always say that, I try to think of another example, or just, I don't know, anything, you have to trust God to lead you there. So we can't just be doing anything. And I feel like a lot of the times when we have a promise from God and we're waiting on it for a very long time, we can pretty much try to speed the process by manipulating the things around us. Like, for example, I don't know why God gave me this. I don't even watch sports. But kind of like a marathon. So if someone is like, in a marathon to, I don't know how long they run. I don't know. Let's say 100 miles. I don't know how long they run, so don't judge me. But honestly, if God says you're gonna win this race, or you're gonna complete this marathon, and we go into the marathon knowing that we're going to complete this marathon, finish it, we're gonna finish out strong, we need to pace ourselves, and instead of just taking off running full speed in the beginning, we need to pace ourselves, and through that endurance and pacing ourselves, we'll eventually get we'll pick up speed, and we'll eventually get to the finish line a lot quicker than if we were to just take off running full speed as soon as it starts. Because you can take off full speed and get tired in the middle and want to give up. But if you pace yourself and pace yourself and pace yourself, and you gradually, you're picking up speed, but you're pacing yourself, you can keep going nonstop without ceasing and finish the race a lot quicker than those who take off running. So pretty much what I'm saying is that we have got to trust the Lord to help us pace ourselves, because a lot of the times, God doesn't reveal or unveil all that He has for us right away, because we can't handle it all at once. We have to be prepared for it, and in that pacing, that's us preparing this, and we have to allow God to prepare us, because a lot of times we think we're ready and we're not. We're not, and we can mean well, but we have to just learn to really trust God and operate out of rest when it comes to that, and not be so anxious to the promise that God has for us. We can't get discouraged mid-race. We have to stay grounded. We have to stay steady in the Lord, and we can't get too focused on the promise and not the giver of the promise. So pretty much we can't just get discouraged just because we're not seeing it at a timely manner or in a manner of when we want to see it. We can't just get discouraged and just throw in the towel and say God doesn't care, because He does care, but He cares enough for us to prepare us. And even though we think we're prepared, He cares enough for us to prepare us for it. And in that preparing, at its appointed time, it will unveil. And honestly, it really does run back off of Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, and in a lot of ways, but really we have to really operate out of Philippians chapter 4 verse 12, and we have to learn how to really just be content in the Lord, just being fully content in Him, because that would completely negate all anxiousness. So pretty much, if we continue to operate out of a Philippians 4:12 life, then, and stay content in Him, and let God be our contentment, regardless of knowing that, He's taking us places. We can't get too distracted by where He's taking us that we miss Him now. So where He's taking us is just as important as the now, and what He's teaching us and what He's preparing us. So that's just as important, because in order for us to get to that next step, or the top of the staircase, we got to take each step one by one. So that's pretty much what I was just what God was just teaching me, and I just wanted to share that because I felt like to share it. Also, I really just wanted to share a second part about how to rest in God, but how when we are in the rest of God, the enemy will try to distract us. If he knows that he can't get to us through our faith in the belief of God doing it, then he'll try to get to us by distracting us with that very promise. So he'll try to get us to be anxious for it, or on the edge of our seat for it. And the truth is, we don't have to be like that, because our contentment is in Jesus anyway. So we should never let anything that God gives us be our contentment. We should never, and it's crazy, because that can really, it can sneak up on you. It can sneak up on you if you're not careful. So do not let the enemy distract you, even with the promises that God says, but just continue to be focused on Him. I'm hoping I'm saying this correctly, so you guys get what I'm saying. And this is not to just not say, okay, well, don't get excited or don't be expectant. Of course, you should always be expectant of what God has told you, but just don't let it be a distraction. Don't let it become a distraction, because then that can be detrimental to where you're headed and where you're going in God. So just make sure that your steps are being ordered by God, and not just going off of a good idea, or trying to manipulate or speed up the process. And we have to learn, we have to just trust God to lead us there, because God doesn't need our help. He doesn't need our help to get us where He has already showed us and where He wants to take us. If you think about it, it's kind of funny how we can get so anxious, and we think we're helping God by, oh, let me just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and let me just add this, let me just put this in there. And God doesn't need that. He just needs our faith. He just needs us to be obedient and to trust Him, and to stay in alignment with Him. Just be willing, and be expectant. So that's pretty much just what I wanted to share. I hope this helps somebody. It's definitely helped me. God is so good, and I love you guys. If you have any questions, I'm open to questions and comments or anything like that, prayer requests, anything like that. You guys can always let me know. I'm always willing to agree in prayer with you. So I hope this helps. I love you guys. Have a blessed one.